What is going on, Jets fans? Welcome back to Jets Media. My name is Richie, and today I got a loaded video for you guys because this week is free agency. Finally. Now, the New York Jets, there's no secret. We're going after a wide receiver, but the question is, who will it be? In this video, I'll be breaking down all of the New York Jets trade and free agent targets. I'm excited to break it down. The first one we'll be getting into is Calvin Ridley, and then we have some other guys that I feel like the New York Jets should definitely consider bringing in the offseason, not just through free agency, but through the trade market. Do not forget to hit the like button if you guys enjoy the video, but more importantly, I want to hear from you guys. Who do you want on the New York Jets? Make your prediction. Who did the Jets sign or trade for the New York Jets at the wide receiver spot? And maybe we'll come back to this video and see who is correct. So let me know in the comments who you want. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Greatly appreciate that. Let's get right into business. Starting off with Calvin Ridley. Now, Calvin Ridley's an interesting name. You can argue he might be the most expensive wide receiver right now that's available on the open market. That's why some Jets fans, I think, are a little hesitant for Calvin Ridley just because of the price that he is going to be looking for. But you look at his numbers, they don't lie. Back in 2020, when he peaked on the Atlanta Falcons before he got suspended and then got hurt as well, he had 90 catches, 1,374 yards, 9 touchdowns before he went on a hiatus for 2 years. Then he goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars last season, 76 catches, over 1,000 yards, and 8 touchdowns. So Calvin Ridley would be a dynamic weapon right next to Garrett Wilson, and I honestly would be A-okay with bringing in Calvin Ridley in the free agency period. But again, he is definitely going to be pricey. Do the New York Jets want to commit that type of money to a player in Calvin Ridley who's around 29 years old? I still feel like he would absolutely make this offense way more dynamic than it was last year, because we all know Garrett Wilson is our number one. We're looking for a guy to complement Garrett Wilson. And the one thing that Calvin Ridley does is he's a very similar style of football player, I would say, to Garrett Wilson. Now, Garrett is unique in his own way, but what I mean by that is their size and speed and their ability to get in and out of breaks are really similar. Calvin Ridley's not that typical 6'4" guy to go up and get it in the red zone like other guys are. So curious to get your guys' thoughts. Would you be open to the New York Jets landing Calvin Ridley in free agency? Why or why not? Now let's get into the next player. This one has been linked to the Jets for quite some time, even last year. Odell Beckham Jr. is a free agent, and he was almost a Jet last year. Now I do feel like this is a name that's probably going to come across Jets fans in terms of nobody wants OBJ. Because I agree, there's a lot of other better names on the market that you can trade for that have just way more talent. We know what Odell Beckham Jr. is at this point. You saw what he did last year with Baltimore. 35 catches, 565 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He was dealing with injuries a little bit. He got very comfortable with Baltimore later on in the year. Did not have a good start to the season, but then he really found his rhythm with Lamar Jackson, and he was a big part of their playoff run. But when it comes to the Jets' other options they have in free agency and trades, you would definitely rather have somebody who's more in their prime of their career rather than Odell Beckham Jr., who we all know is not the New York Giants self that he was, making one-handed catches and all that. So you can convince me that OBJ with Aaron Rodgers, with Garrett Wilson will definitely work out, but I personally think there's a lot better options on the table for the New York Jets. That's just how I feel about OBJ, just keeping it honest with you guys. Now, the next one is another free agent that I think is very interesting that could be linked to the Jets. I haven't heard a lot of Jets fans talking about it, which is why I wanted to get your opinion on this specific player, and that's Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown is a free agent right now, and I feel like his style at the receiver could be really beneficial with Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers loves the deep ball. You look at his days with Green Bay, how many times did he load up a 50 to 60-yard bomb down the field to Jordy Nelson or Randall Cobb in his prime and just get long touchdowns? Well, that's what Hollywood Brown is. He's a deep threat. He's speedy. He can take the top off the defense. He's definitely not your go up in red zone type of receiver that's a big body. He's kind of the opposite. He's smaller. He is okay at route running, but his ability to go up vertically and just absolutely take the top off the defense is there. And I feel like with Aaron Rodgers, that's definitely an intriguing option for me. Back in 2021, his last season on the Baltimore Ravens, Hollywood had 91 catches, just over 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. And then this past season with Arizona, 51 catches, 574 yards and 4 touchdowns. Now, again, we have to be realistic here. We're not looking for a number one receiver. And Hollywood Brown, I think, is a solid number 2 next to Garrett Wilson. I don't really expect the Jets to go crazy and trade for Justin Jefferson or something like that. The Jets are going to be smart and see which players are available that will fit this team for this window they got with Aaron Rodgers. You can definitely convince me on Hollywood Brown. Not my favorite out of all these guys, but if he signed with the Jets, you can definitely feel like, okay, that offense just got faster. They got more speed. They have more just overall talent on that wide receiver spot. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section about Hollywood Brown. Now, these next names I am going to be talking about, we could target in the trade market. The guys we just talked about already, Calvin Ridley, OBJ, Hollywood Brown, those 3 guys are free agents. Now, I'm going to transition into some trade targets, but before we get into the trade targets, I just want to bring up some other names in free agency that I want to make sure that the Jets could potentially be bringing in. Kendrick Bourne from the New England Patriots. If he does not re-sign with the Patriots, the Jets are linked to him, as well as Tyler Boyd from the Cincinnati Bengals. 2 names we already talked about on this channel, so I don't really want to go into depth about those 2 guys, but I have heard the Jets being linked to both of them, so I had to bring them up. Now, before we get into the trade targets for the New York Jets, let's hear a quick word from today's sponsor. Are you guys tired of constantly receiving spam phone calls to the point where you don't even answer your phone anymore? Well, I actually am, because every time I see somebody calling my phone, it feels like it's a damn spam caller, as you guys can see here. How many times do you guys see potential spam come up on your phone? Well, I'm really excited to announce the sponsor of today's video. That happens to be Aura. If you guys don't know this, data brokers are making a fortune selling your information to robocallers, spammers, and others who want to learn more about you, like where you live. Well, Aura can identify data brokers exposing your info and submit opt-out requests on your behalf. Brokers are legally required to remove your information if you ask them to, but they make it super hard to do. Let Aura handle it for you. Aura also does so much more to protect you and your family from online threats you can see. It's really easy to set up, so you don't have to download several different apps to get things done, like parental controls, antivirus, VPN, password management, identity theft insurance, and more. Let Aura do the hard work of keeping you safe online so you could focus on other tasks with a peaceful mind. You can either let people continue to exploit and profit off your private information, or you can go to aura.com/jetsmedia to start your 2-week free trial today in the link down below in the description. Big time shout out to Aura. Now let's get into the next player, which is Courtland Sutton. Now, the New York Jets have been linked to Courtland Sutton amongst the fan base for a long time, and we had some breaking news actually today. Jerry Jeudy got traded to the Cleveland Browns. So the question is, are the Broncos going to want to build around Courtland Sutton, or is he the next man to be traded? I would absolutely love the Jets to go after a guy in Courtland Sutton. His contract for the year of 2024 is a $10 million cap hit. 25, it's $14 million. I think the Jets could definitely afford that type of money on their books. It's pretty much a bargain in today's market, if you will, in the wide receiver room. But you look at his numbers 2 years ago, 64 catches, 829 yards, only 2 touchdowns. But then last year, he had 10 touchdowns to go along with 772 yards, 59 catches. Now, Courtland Sutton's one of my favorites out of this list because we need to score touchdowns, and I think that he is a red zone monster, especially with a healthy Aaron Rodgers. I feel like Courtland Sutton would complement Garrett Wilson in this overall offense the best out of anybody, simply because I want the Jets to get a 6'4", go up and get it, go score me some touchdowns. Not to say the other guys like Calvin Ridley or even Hollywood Brown or OBJ can't score touchdowns, but a guy that's coming off a double-digit season, getting into the end zone, that's what the Jets need. We need to score points, okay? I'm sick of stalling out in the red zone. We heard Nathaniel Hackett lie to us that, it's the golden zone. Okay, the golden zone, we obviously don't know what we're doing in the red zone. We don't know what that would have looked like if Aaron Rodgers was healthy. Why not go get Courtland Sutton? Now, the one thing that does scare me is I don't know the relationship between Courtland Sutton and Nathaniel Hackett, right? You go back into that 22 season, that was with Nathaniel Hackett, and Hackett only got Sutton in the end zone twice, okay? So you look at those 2022 numbers, that was with Nathaniel Hackett. Just to let you guys know, I don't know about their relationship in terms of coach and player, but I'm assuming it's going to be fine. I would absolutely be open to bringing in Courtland Sutton. And the last player I want to bring up about the New York Jets potentially trading is Diontae Johnson. Diontae Johnson. This might be one of my favorites too. Now, we heard a report today that the Steelers are open to trading Diontae Johnson, and I feel like this could be a really sneaky trade for the Jets because I don't think that his trade market is going to be that expensive. You look at his numbers in 2021, 3 years ago. 107 catches, 1,161 yards, 8 touchdowns, okay? And then the next year in 22, he didn't score a touchdown, did not have a really good season that year. And then this last year, he had 51 catches, 574 yards, and 4 touchdowns. I feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers don't have good quarterback play. They have George Pickens. They have a pretty solid group on the offense, but I feel like when it comes to their offense, they don't really prioritize throwing the ball, especially recently with Kenny Pickett and Rudolph. So I feel like you throw Johnson in with the Jets offense with Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. I feel like this is a guy that can definitely get in and out of breaks, create separation, reliable hands, speedy threat, home run hitter as well, can take it the distance at any time. Definitely a different type of receiver like a Courtland Sutton who just broke down, who's more of a red zone guy and really gets into the end zone a lot with that 6'4" frame. But I feel like Diontae Johnson is a player that is in the prime of his career, and he would complement what the New York Jets are trying to do with Aaron Rodgers so well. So that's going to wrap up this video, guys. Obviously, there's a lot of other names that the New York Jets can be bringing in, even in the trade market. So let me know if there's any names that I did not bring up that you want the New York Jets to consider bringing in at the wide receiver spot. We're finally going to figure out who it's going to be this week. Don't you guys worry. I will be live and making content all week long. This is where the offseason officially kicks off. And let's have fun together. Hit that like button if you enjoyed. Comment down below a Statue of Liberty emoji if you stayed all the way to the end of the video. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Peace.